Hey friends, and welcome back to a new video. Today we're talking about all the ways that I was stupid with my money. I would generally say that I'm pretty responsible with my money. I do really smart things with my money. I'm financially literate, but sometimes, once in a while, I do have emotional moments lead to not so smart decisions, at least financially. If I could go back and do it again, I probably wouldn't change anything. I would probably still spend that money. So I don't necessarily regret these purchases, but at least from a financial standpoint, they weren't very smart. It's really difficult because often bad financial decisions come from an emotional decision, but because these decisions are emotional, you also don't really regret them. So on one hand, you want to be financially responsible. On the other hand, you also sometimes would just like to treat yourself in some way, or you have other reasons behind that purchase. But it's a good thing to at least be aware of the fact that a certain thing might have been financially not so smart. This way you can really think about it twice or three times before you want to go ahead and do that. Maybe even change your mind or just learn from mistakes in the past. So my number one stupid thing I did financially was to rent this apartment I'm currently in. This one I might redo or do differently if I could, but the rent for this apartment is pretty expensive, at least expensive in relation to my income. So my part, I share this apartment with my boyfriend, my part of the rent is about 600 euros, which isn't that much, but in relation to what I earn, it is too much. And I could have gotten a more affordable apartment. I'm someone that is a big homebody. I love to spend a lot of time at home. Home is a place that I feel comfort, I feel peace in, and so having a home I feel comfortable and, as I said, at peace in was really important to me. And I had a lot of criteria that I wanted the apartment to have. For one, I wanted to have a kitchen. I wanted it to be in a green neighborhood or in a greener environment with more nature. I wanted it to have a balcony because I really wanted to have like a little vegetable garden, and I wanted it not to be too far outside of the city so that I didn't have to spend a lot of money on transportation. I want to be able to bike everywhere, and I wanted it to have a lot of light. We used to have an apartment with very little light in it, and I noticed it had a big effect on my mood and just how I felt in the apartment. So yeah, those were a lot of criteria, and this apartment checked all of them. This apartment is absolutely beautiful. We're both so in love with this apartment, so I don't necessarily regret moving into this apartment because it is so perfect, but because all these criteria that I wanted the apartment to have are also criteria that anyone else would love in an apartment, which is why it is an expensive apartment. But when we toured it, I fell in love with it, and I even agreed to go over my budget. But now in hindsight, it would have been smarter financially to not go over budget, to stay under budget, and to pick an apartment that was cheaper. And maybe I could have found an apartment that was cheaper and I'd also still really loved. I could have made it into my own thing, my home that I feel safe in. So it's difficult. On one hand, I love this apartment. On the other hand, financially, it does pain me a little bit that this apartment is so expensive for me. The second thing that I could have done a little bit better financially was our move. So we moved into this new city in the beginning of the year, and it's a city that my boyfriend and I don't know anything about. We've both never been to the city, and it was kind of like a blind move, which is the part that I think wasn't very smart, because moves in general are very expensive, and we were aware of that and did try to move as cost efficient as possible by bringing as little things as possible, and because of that, being able to rent a rather small van to move all our stuff and we moved all of our stuff ourselves, so we didn't have to pay any movers or anything like that. It was just the cost of the rented moving van, which cost about 400 euros. It isn't that much, but again, it is something, and it was a big risk to move to a city that we didn't know anything about. We didn't know whether we would love it or hate it. And the risk of not liking the city you're moving to, it then just means that you'll have to move all the way back and spend another 400 or 500 euros or dollars, which you could have saved yourself if you maybe checked out the city beforehand. So for us, we enjoy living here in this new city, but we don't love it. So we are planning on moving back sooner or later. And again, that is going to cost us 400 or 500 euros or dollars. That's something I definitely learned for the future, to try, if possible, check out the city that you're moving to, get a feel for it. Is it a place where you can see yourself living in rather than just moving there sort of blindly? But my boyfriend and I, we love adventures, and this definitely is an adventure. The third thing that I'm not very financially smart with is skincare. Skincare is a luxury because you don't need skincare. You can survive without skincare. Even affordable skincare is still a luxury because you don't need it. And I'm not that much of a skincare person, in the sense that I have like maybe 2 special skincare products that are both affordable, under $20. But again, I don't need it. And it is a luxury that does cost me then about $100 a year. And I mean, if you have that money and you enjoy it and it's a form of self-care, then go for it. But because I'm not earning too much at the moment and I am in such a money-saving mindset, I should question whether spending money on skincare is such a priority for me. And again, it's difficult because it is something that I enjoy. I enjoy the routine of it. But then again, if I didn't have it, would it be so bad? Could I maybe form my routine in some other way? Could I spend my self-care time in some other way? And again, it's just an emotional decision that is in some way also societally pressured a little bit. Skincare is something that is very popular right now, and I feel like I want to join the trend or join the hype, and I do enjoy it, but it's not necessary. And at least in my position, maybe it would be smarter to save that money that I'm spending on skincare that is just going on my face. And I mean, it's doing something, but it's not that necessary. Number 4 is something that I recently thought about and was very shocked to, I don't know when I realized this, but I spent so much money on my tattoos. Now again, I don't regret this. I would do it all again if I could, but I spend so much money on all the tattoos that I have. I absolutely love my tattoos. As I said, I would do it all again. But counting all the tattoos that I have together, I have at least around $1,000 or euros worth of artwork on my body. And again, it's beautiful, but from a financial standpoint, I mean, do I have that much money just to spare, just to spend on fun stuff? I don't know. Maybe it would have been smarter to save that money, invest that money. It's not like I have a lot of excess money, but again, I don't regret it, and I love tattoos so much that I want to get more down the line. But it's also something that is so expensive, $1,000 just inked on my body. I could have spent differently. So these were the things that I feel like weren't very smart decisions, at least from a financial standpoint, that I did. I mean, these aren't horrible things. It could have been much worse, but also I feel like I do a lot of things right as well. But it's always nice or interesting to think about what you could have done better, maybe just to learn from your mistakes going forward, or just to be more conscious about how you spend your money, how you think, what kind of emotional money decisions do you make, just to get to know yourself a little better. I also wanted to show you that we're all human. Even the most financially literate person probably does a few financially not so smart things here and there, and that's okay as well. We're all susceptible to emotional decisions. We're emotional beings, and that's also okay. We don't need to beat ourselves up about it. What I also love to know is what are some financially not so smart things that you did. If you feel comfortable sharing down below, maybe we can learn from each other. Also, I had posted a video about things that I bought that I regret, from a financial but also minimalist point of view. If you're interested in that, I will leave the video here or down below. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you found this informative, helpful, entertaining. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos on my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!